Mary Cosby, the bold, unapologetic star of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, faced every parent's worst nightmare. Her son, Robert Cosby Jr., was found dead at just 23 years old. He was someone's child, someone's husband, someone who was fighting battles most of us will never fully understand. This isn't just another celebrity tragedy. This is about a young man who struggled publicly with addiction, who fought to get sober, who made mistakes, and who, just days before his death, was trying to start over. This is Robert's story, and it deserves to be told with honesty, with compassion, and with the understanding that behind every headline is a human being who mattered. February 23rd started like any other day, but for the Cosby family, it became the day that changed everything. Salt Lake City police responded to a call, a possible overdose. When they arrived, they found Robert Cosby Jr. unresponsive. He was just 23 years old. The medical examiner is still investigating the cause of death, but the impact, that was immediate. Mary Cosby, a woman who has never been shy about speaking her truth on reality television, suddenly found herself in the most devastating spotlight imaginable, grieving her son while the world watched. 2 days later, on February 25th, Mary released a statement. And listen to these words carefully, because they're the words of a mother in unimaginable pain. Our beloved son, Robert Jr., has been called home to the Lord. Though our hearts ache, we take comfort in God's promise and in knowing He is finally at peace. We are grateful for your prayers and trust in the Lord to carry us through this time of sorrow. Think about that phrase. It tells you everything you need to know about the battle Robert Jr. was fighting. This wasn't sudden for the family. They'd been watching their son struggle for years. They'd been praying, hoping, fighting alongside him. Andy Cohen, the executive producer of the Real Housewives franchise, immediately shared his condolences. Devastatingly sad news out of SLC, he wrote. This is every parent's worst nightmare. My heart is broken for Mary, and I am sending all my love to her and Robert Sr. Every parent's worst nightmare, because that's exactly what this is. Before we talk about how Robert Jr. died, let's talk about who he was. Robert Cosby Jr. was born into a unique situation. His mother, Mary Cosby, isn't just any reality TV star. She's a Pentecostal preacher who inherited her church and married her late grandmother's second husband, Robert Cosby Sr. Yes, you read that right. Mary's life has always been unconventional, and Robert Jr. grew up in that world. He was the product of faith, controversy, wealth, and expectation. Imagine growing up with cameras following your family, with your mother's every move scrutinized by millions. Imagine having your teenage years, your struggles, your mistakes broadcast for entertainment. On Instagram, Mary frequently posted about her son. In September 2203, during one of Robert Jr.'s most difficult periods battling addiction, she shared a sweet mother-son photo. The caption was simple but powerful. She wanted the world to see her son not as a headline, but as her child. In February 2006, just weeks before his death, Mary posted another tribute. February 7th. God first love you all, my beautiful son. I love him, son. Not as a problem, not as someone beyond help, as her beautiful son whom she loved so much. Robert Jr. had gotten married young, something that shocked even his mother. During a 2024 episode of RHOSSC, Mary confronted him about rumors he'd secretly gotten married. His response? Shy, a little embarrassed. I mean kind, yeah. Like, I went to the courthouse. He was 20, trying to build a life while struggling with demons most people don't face until they're much older, if ever. His wife was Alexiana Arian Smokoff, and unfortunately, that relationship would become entangled in Robert Jr.'s legal troubles. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, addiction. Robert Jr.'s struggle with substance abuse wasn't hidden, it was documented. It was real, and during Season 6 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, viewers watched as he opened up about his battle to stay sober. At the 2026 reunion, just weeks before his death, Robert Jr. made a candid confession that brought his mother to tears. He admitted he was struggling. He admitted staying sober was hard. He was honest about his run-ins with the law. That kind of vulnerability, it's rare, especially for a young man in his early 20s, especially on national television. But here's what you need to understand about addiction. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care if you have a loving mother. It doesn't care if you have faith. It doesn't care if you're trying to get better. Addiction is a disease. And like any disease, sometimes despite everyone's best efforts, it wins. In December, Robert Jr. pleaded guilty to 8 of 14 charges. Let me list them because they paint a picture of someone spiraling. felony property damage or destruction, violation of a pretrial protective order obtained by his estranged wife, criminal trespass on a dwelling with intent to cause annoyance, injury, or fear. These aren't the charges of a hardened criminal. These are the charges of someone whose life is falling apart, someone acting out, someone in pain. He was sentenced to 2 months in Salt Lake County Metro Jail. And here's the heartbreaking part. His attorney, Clayton Sims, said the time in jail actually helped him. It allowed him to sober up and start thinking clearly, Sims told Page 6. He's looking forward to doing positive things. The difficulty is that he was slow to recognize the dissolution of his marriage, but now he understands the relationship is over and he's moving forward. He was looking forward to doing positive things. He was moving forward. Robert Jr. was released from jail less than 1 month before his death. 1 month, he had sobered up. He was thinking clearly. He was ready to start over. And that's what makes this so devastating. He was so close. He had done the hard work. He had served his time. He had gotten sober. His mother was supporting him. He was posting on social media about his new chapter. But addiction doesn't care about second chances. It doesn't care about potential. It waits. And sometimes it strikes when you least expect it. One of the most difficult aspects of Robert Jr.'s death is that it happened in public. Mary Cosby isn't just a grieving mother. She's a public figure. Her son's struggles weren't private family matters discussed behind closed doors. There were storylines on a reality TV show watched by millions. Think about that for a moment. When your child is struggling, when they're in jail, when they're battling addiction, normally you can grieve privately. You can deal with it within your family. You can protect your child's dignity. But Mary couldn't do that. Every court appearance, every arrest, every relapse, it was all documented, all discussed, all analyzed by fans and critics alike. Some people might ask, why did she allow that? Why did she let her son's struggles become entertainment? But maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe the real question is, in allowing her son's struggle to be shown, did Mary help destigmatize addiction? Did she help other parents feel less alone? Did she show that even people with faith, with resources, with love, even they struggle with this disease? After Robert Jr. death, the outpouring of support was immediate. Fans, fellow housewives, people who had never met the family, they all sent condolences. They all shared their own stories of loss. They all said the same thing: this could happen to anyone. That's the power of public grief. It's painful, it's invasive, but it's also connecting. It reminds us we're not alone. On February 28th, 5 days after Robert Jr.'s death, Mary shared something on Instagram. A photo, a throwback of her and her son, both smiling for the camera. The caption was simple: #God first, #love, #forever. I'm going to miss you, Bubs. Bubs. Her nickname for him. She posted it alongside Jessica Mauboy's song, Time After Time. If you know the lyrics, you know why. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me, time after time. It's a message of eternal connection, a promise that love doesn't end with death, that she will always be there time after time, waiting to be reunited with her son. Mary Cosby is a complicated figure. On RHOSLC, she's been controversial, bold, unapologetic. She said things that shocked people. She's had feuds. She's been criticized. But in this moment, she's just a mother who loved her son fiercely, a mother who supported him through addiction, a mother who visited him in jail, a mother who believed in second chances, a mother who posted about him proudly even when he was struggling, a mother who now has to figure out how to live in a world without her child. There's a particular cruelty in outliving your children. It goes against the natural order. Parents aren't supposed to bury their kids. And yet, here we are. Mary's faith is strong. She's built her life on it. She's a preacher. She believes in God's plan. But I imagine even she is asking why? Why her son? Why now when he was getting better? Why after he'd sobered up and was ready to start fresh? Those are questions that may never have answers. Robert Cosby Jr.'s death isn't just a personal tragedy. It's a reminder of a much larger crisis. Overdose deaths have been climbing for years. Young people in their 20s, people who should have their whole lives ahead of them, are dying at alarming rates. Fentanyl, opioids, substances that are more potent and more deadly than ever before. And here's what makes it even worse. Someone can be sober for weeks, months, even years. But if they relapse, their tolerance has changed. Their body can't handle what it once could. And that first use back can be fatal. We don't know exactly what happened to Robert Jr. The medical examiner is still investigating. But we know police responded to a possible overdose. We know he had recently been released from jail, where he'd gotten sober. We know he was in that dangerous window where recovery is fragile. This is the reality of addiction. It's not about willpower. It's not about wanting it badly enough. It's not about having enough support or enough love. It's a disease that kills. And it kills young people who had everything to live for. If Robert Jr.'s death does anything, I hope it sparks conversations about addiction, about mental health, about the support systems we have or don't have for people struggling, about the criminal justice system and whether jail is the right place for people who need treatment, about compassion. Because at the end of the day, Robert Jr. was human. He made mistakes, he struggled, but he also loved and was loved. He had potential. He had dreams. He had a mother who would have done anything to save him. Robert Cosby Jr. was 23 years old when he died. Just 23. He'll never get to see 30. He'll never get to fully recover and tell his story of redemption. He'll never get to be the person he was working so hard to become. But he was here. He mattered. And his life, with all its struggles and all its pain, meant something. To his mother, he was her beautiful son. To his father, he was Robert Jr. To his estranged wife, he was someone she once loved. To everyone watching his story unfold on television, he was a reminder that addiction doesn't discriminate, that recovery is hard, that sometimes, despite everyone's best efforts, we lose people too soon. Mary Cosby said her son has been called home to the Lord and that he is finally at peace. I hope that's true. I hope Robert Jr. has found the peace that eluded him in life. Rest easy, Bubs. Your mother loved you fiercely, and that love doesn't end. Time after time,